In just less than 100 days is the equivalent of the flower farming Olympics, Mother's Day. And as my first year competing as a flower farmer, I wanted to win the gold medal and grow 100 bouquets worth of flowers. The only problem is that I only have 1,000 square feet to work with, which is a pretty tight budget. But I knew that if I had a plan, no wasted space, and the weather cooperated, I could achieve my goal of getting on the podium, if not winning the gold. However, by mid-January, it was already clear the weather was not going to cooperate. This winter, I worked really hard on developing what I thought would be a foolproof garden plan and seed starting system. By mid-January, I was about 4 weeks into the system and absolutely loving it. I had thousands of seeds started, all growing in my greenhouse, and then the ice and the snow came, and I had to quickly figure out a plan, bring them inside, and try to keep them alive through all of the cold. Having the amount of snow and ice that we had not only meant that I was behind on my seed starting, but I was also behind on planting things out. And seeds are kind of like a train. You have to keep things moving. And as soon as you can't do the next step, like planting things out, things get backed up. So I had to wait until the snow and ice melted to see what survived and what I could salvage from the seeds that I had still living in my house and in my greenhouse. Unfortunately, because of the cold, I did lose some seedlings. I lost like 2 or 3 trays of things that were put in the greenhouse and they just didn't survive the cold temperatures. And as I started looking around my garden, as the snow and ice started melting, it became clear that I had a really big problem. Not only had I lost really important seed trays, but the seed trays I had lost were meant to go in 2 specific garden beds. This garden bed, which was meant to have 128 snapdragons, and this garden bed, which is under a layer of leaves, that was supposed to have 189 stock flowers, which means I was short about 300 flowers, which is not good. My goal of 100 bouquets was not actually that out of reach, and in order to explain that, we need to do some bouquet math. I was looking for my ruler so I could be like, math time, but I know where it is. Get in, losers. You're not losers, you're winners. We're going to talk about bouquet math. Now, everybody and their moms, quite literally, because some people flower farm with their moms, have opinions about bouquets, stem counts, stem price, most of all, profitability. We are not going to get into that today. We're going to do a very surface level, cursory glance. In order for me to win my gold medal that I am going to award myself, I needed to have a target of a stem count per bouquet so that I could calculate how many stems I needed to reach my 100 bouquet goal. So I estimated 10 stems per bouquet. Now generally sometimes I add a little bit extra, but we're gonna go off of 10 stems per bouquet. And if I wanna have 100 bouquets, that means I need 1,000 stems, which is why having 300 stems missing is a problem. It is a problem. I will say that is a problem. The second problem that we have at this time of year, being less than 80 days away from Mother's Day, is that most flowers don't mature in 80 days. The flowers that will mature the fastest tend to like long daylight hours and warm weather. And we happen to have neither one of those things at this time of the year. The possible flowers that could replace the stems that I do not have is very, very limited, but not zero. There are a few options. So I'm going to figure out what I need to start and what I can put in these garden beds over the next few days because time is a ticking and it's not waiting for me. Bottom line is if I don't get these 300 to 400 stems replaced, I'm not going to be able to reach my 100 bouquet goal because I just simply won't have enough stems growing to make 100 bouquets. But my garden is not waiting for me. Spring is on its way, and whether or not I have plants to put in these garden beds, I still need to get them prepped. Math time over. Class dismissed. But just because I don't have the flowers that I was supposed to have to plant out in these garden beds does not mean that I should stop progress on the rest of my season. So I need to get these beds ready to be planted out with whatever it is I come up to try and plant in time for Mother's Day. So in order to do that, I have to do a soil test on the first one, and on the second one that's covered in leaves, I need to reinforce it because we have some crazy rains where I live and it has slowly been washing away over the past few years. So I am a very big fan of DIY, use what you have. So I'm taking some soil from the first bed and bringing it over to this new bed before I'm going to do a soil test. I covered this bed with leaves as like a layer of mulch in the fall. And yeah, I'm just going to add in some extra soil. I don't need to buy soil because I already have some. I can just move it from one place where I don't need it and put it in another. So that's what we're going to do. I need to prep these beds before I can plant into them. I don't have something to plant into them right now, but they need to be ready so that way when I do have stuff, they're not going to back me up by having to do this whole process. So I'm going to take soil samples from each bed by picking 6 different areas, putting them into a little container, mixing that container up, and then doing a little soil test to figure out what nutrients either bed needs so that it can grow big, beautiful, healthy flowers. Okay, I have my 2 receptacles of soil. I'm not to the point where I use like fancy soil tests, so these are just from Amazon. This one thing is like $14 and you can do 5 tests. It says 20 tests, but what it means is that you can do 4 of each or whatever the math is. The first one is you do the pH while the soil is still relatively dry, and then I have to mix it and make a solution of like soil water and let it sit overnight. So I won't have their test results back until I choose to do that, but it's going to take at least 24 hours. But the thing about Mother's Day is that it's one weekend, and I am really lucky. I live in Zone 7B in Virginia. So my growing season, like frost-free growing season, my frost-free growing season is actually 34 weeks. So Mother's Day is one of 34 weeks. And my local farmer's market is year round. So if I have products that I can bring to the farmer's market like now in February, I can go to the farmer's market. So while Mother's Day is really important for me to like prove my ability as a flower farmer, I just think it's fun to set goals and like strive for them, because if I don't have a goal, I'm kind of just like la-di-da, let me just, what should I plant today? Mother's Day and getting my gold medal is really important, and that's a goal that I have, but I also have 34 plus, maybe 50 plus weeks out of the year that I could be selling things at my local farmer's market. I made a plan in winter for every month, kind of like another goal for me to try and achieve. Last year I did some bouquet bars, so kind of just making a goal and kind of, I guess, a business plan for how this year might go for me. And because of the weather, 2 of the 3 farmers markets that I signed up for in February were canceled. So I am behind not only in what I want to have planted for Mother's Day, I'm also behind sales goals wise for the whole year so far because it's February and I'm behind. This weekend is the final farmers market of February. I'm signed up. I don't have flowers blooming, if you couldn't tell by what my garden looks like, but I can still go, and I have an idea of something that I want to bring that will be new and exciting. So in order to make up for the markets that have been canceled, this market this weekend needs to be like 3 times the normal market, which in order for that to happen, the weather has to be nice. A lot of people have to show up, and they actually have to like buy what I make. So we have our work cut out for us this weekend. So if Mother's Day doesn't go well, I still need farmers markets to go well in order to make this whole business work for me. So I need to go for my walk, which has nothing to do with, honestly, yeah, you know what? I need to go for my walk because it helps me in my brain and be active or whatever. So I need to go for my walk. I need to go buy moss and paper wraps to wrap my dried flower bouquets. And then we're gonna make my little thing for this weekend. I'm excited because I've never made this before. So hopefully it goes well, but yeah, we gotta go get moss and go for a walk. There is a craft I have been wanting to do for the past 2 years, and I have put it off, I've procrastinated, and finally, we're making it happen. Today I'm making some kokedamas. Kokedamas, I hope I'm saying that right, is like a Japanese art form. I first saw it from a video from the YouTube channel Florist on Farms, and I was obsessed. But at the time, I didn't actually have bulbs myself growing in my garden. So I got some bulbs from my garden now a few years later, and I also bought some bulbs from Trader Joe's. I'm working on a longer tutorial that should be out maybe Friday. Part of growing 100 bouquets for Mother's Day and getting my gold medal not only means growing the flowers, but also selling the flowers. So with these kokedamas, my plan is that I'll have them at the farmer's market this weekend to make up for the fact that I don't have any fresh flower bouquets. And I also want to practice posting on social media to help spread awareness of the fact that I exist and I grow pretty flowers. Ooh, she's got 9 likes. We're doing numbers, guys. We're doing numbers. Good morning. It is 75 days before Mother's Day, and we had a frost last night. So I need to go check on my plants in my greenhouse to make sure they are alive. And I also need to start a lot of seeds today. I've got my seed starting sweater on. I guess I wear this every time I start seeds. And we're gonna go start a lot of seeds today. Let me show you what I'm supposed to do today. This is what January me thought would be a great idea. Do you see that number? That's insane. I don't know where I thought I was gonna put all of those plants with all of these. Yeah, this is not happening. I think I'm gonna do the basil, the straw flower, the calendula, like everything but this. Get the trays that I need, fill them up, and just plug away at this list. One thing has become abundantly clear as the weeks are ticking on and I start more and more seeds, and that is that my greenhouse just is not big enough for all the things that I want to do in it and all the seeds that I want to start. This year I was hoping on having a plant sale, like hosting a local community plant sale, because we don't have one in our area. The closest one is like 30 miles away, and it's a really, really big one. I actually applied, so I'm hoping I get in, which will definitely change my plans if I do, but I haven't heard back. So for now, I'm just planning on a local plant sale. And in order to do that, I wanted to start hundreds of tomatoes, and I just don't have space in my greenhouse. So I'm going to work on rearranging stuff, clearing this whole place out, and trying to maximize the space that I do have available before I can figure out a better long-term solution. But while I was cleaning out my greenhouse, I remembered something. Farmer Bailey. Farmer Bailey is a plug broker. Yes, that is something that exists. If you don't know what a plug is basically a baby plant that you literally plug into the ground. I think that's why that they're called that. But anyways, Farmer Bailey starts all the cut flower seeds that you could ever want. The problem is you have to buy really large quantities, and you have to do it way in advance. But starting last year and into this year, they've been doing ready to ship sales. So I checked on their Instagram and I saw that they had done one last Friday. So if they're doing another one this Friday, on Friday morning, they will post about the sale, and I can set an alarm and try to see what they have available. If they have something available that is something that I want to grow that could bloom for Mother's Day, this could be the answer to my empty space problem. I just need to make sure I don't miss the sale. So I'm going to keep making room in my greenhouse and try not to forget that this sale is happening. It's still pretty chilly. I think this is gonna have to be good enough for now because there's not much else I can do and I need to start more seeds. So I think what I'm gonna do is go back to my OG seed starting method and start a bunch of things in little like containers, and then as they get big enough, put them in larger ones, and I think that'll help for now. But yeah, I just don't have enough space in here, and it is what it is, I guess. But the tomatoes I started, I brought them inside to get them a jump start on germinating. because it's so cold out here still. So I'm bringing this in to help them. I used to start things in these size containers, and I think I might need to go back to that with the amount of space that I have. If I start things in those sizes, I could fit so many things. So I think we'll be okay for now, but this is like a short-term solution to a long-term problem. But good for now. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot. I totally forgot that today is the day, and my alarm went off. Thank God I set an alarm. Okay, it's 3 o'clock exactly. And if we go here, so here's the deal. Basically, you have to buy 3 trays. And 3 trays can be very expensive. They can be anywhere from $60 to a tray to $200 for a tray. And just because this is like a special ready to ship sale doesn't mean that they give you a discount. They're just ready to ship, so that's what you're getting. And part of the thing is that these plants are already growing. Like most of the time they come and they're ready to be planted out. So they are older, but are they old enough is the question. So I'm not getting into this waiting room. Okay, we're back on the computer and I am 100 spots away. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm in. Okay, let's see. I was really hoping that this would be the answer to my empty garden troubles. I really want Mother's Day to go well, not just because it's a big flower holiday, but because I feel like it's proof that you can grow a lot on a small space. I don't think you need a lot of space to have a big, thriving flower business. Okay, and there's also 2 10s. And I want to prove that to myself with this Mother's Day goal. And as I was seeing what was available, a lot of stuff had already sold out. A lot of things that were available weren't in the price range. And I feel like you can see it on my face. I'm realizing that this just is not going to be what I thought it would be. So I had some tough decisions to make, but the farmer's market was coming and I had to get ready for that. The last few farmers markets that I've done have not gone very well. I think a big part of it is the weather where I live. People love it when it's nice out, and it just hasn't been nice out. So I had a few dried flower bouquets tucked away that I decided to take out just as like I don't really have much, but I might as well bring these. I freshened them up. I added some brighter colors because I found that the ones with orange sold better at my previous markets. I put a few dried flower bouquets together the morning of the farmer's market, brought everything down, and just set up. And the day was going to be beautiful, so I was hoping for a good turnout. So Saturday was beautiful. The weather couldn't have asked for a better day. Normally, when it's as nice as it was Saturday, there are a lot of people at the farmer's market. And I don't know if it was because it's still the end of February. I'm not sure, but there just weren't as many people as there normally are when the weather is so nice. But even though there weren't that many people, I still was $12 over my goal. So that was pretty exciting. But even with that going well, there's still my gold medal at hand. And I came home. I didn't end up buying anything from the Farmer Bailey site because it just wasn't right purchasing anything. And so I was really I don't know what I'm going to do. I want to win the gold or be on the podium. And to do that, I need 1,000 stems. And I thought I was short 300 to 400. So I did a little census. I walked around with a notebook and a pencil and kind of took stock of what I have growing that I think might be blooming. Obviously, I can't guarantee that. According to my little census, I have 884 potential flowers, and that doesn't include foliage like greenery. I have a lot of things that I cut to fill out a bouquet. Assuming I keep everything alive and no weather comes along that changes things, we could be really, really close. But the next few weeks are going to be key to keep on top of things, to make sure everything is growing well. And I've been keeping a little bit of a secret Earlier this week, I got an email that I have been accepted into the really big plant sale. I just got into a really big plant sale, which is exciting. Wasn't planning on that. I applied for it obviously, but I didn't think I was going to get in, and I got in. So that is a problem for next week. I need to start like 500 things like yesterday so that they could be big enough by the plant sales. So next week I have a lot of figuring out to do. I have a lot of seeds to start, and I will be 9 weeks away from my first Mother's Day, trying to compete and win my first gold medal. So if you want to stick around and see how my season turns out, be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.